Hello Internet, this is either Roshi and I'm back with another reaction, this time reacting to Ineffa's Anecdote, Ineffa's magnificent transformation. This isn't very long, but it's an animated thing, and you know how I feel about animated things. I'm gonna watch this, I'm gonna talk about it. Let's get into it.
Aha! Aha! Huh? Ooh, kind of a small upgrade, huh?
No problem. This way I can make even more desserts.
Okay. That was very cute. That was very cute. Alright, let's talk about this a little bit. I think okay. Let's talk about initial thoughts, right? Very cute. I thought it was very funny. It's wholesome. I love this idea of because Ineffa has her whatever it was called, like devastation mode or whatever, where she becomes a freaking attack machine. So I like how these other characters are introducing these ideas to upgrade her, but each one leads into something that is like really cool or combat ready or something along those lines. And I couldn't help but actually crack up legitimately when I saw her in the mech with the volcano exploding behind her, and then the next scene is just like doing the little dainty finger thing with the laundry and the giant mech suit. Like, that's hilarious to me. I don't know, it's just that sudden swap. But I thought it was cool that there's these characters who are trying to help her, that are trying to make her like badass, cool, give her all this stuff. And at the end of the day, she just wants to make desserts for Aino. And yeah, is really only requiring an egg beater for a hand upgrade thing. I thought it was great. It shows a lot of these characters, even like beyond Ineffa, right? Because you have one where it's Shilonin. I forget. Oh my god, this is gonna be bad. Okay, Shilonin, right? I know that she makes stuff, right? I don't know specifically because I haven't played through Natlan, right? But she has this, I feel like upgrades are kind of her thing. Or so I would guess. She makes technology. I think she's responsible for making Chaska's gun vehicle thing? Maybe? Could be wrong about that. My apologies if I am. But I feel like with her, it's always like how to turn this one thing into a bigger, crazier thing, right? Because you start with like, here's the gun, now it's a bigger gun. It's a Gatling gun, a minigun, and yeah, so that makes sense for her character. Like, take this one thing, make it bigger, make it better, make it crazy. And then you have Chaska, I think her name is Chaska, the cowboy lady. She had this flying thing. Like, she had the wings, right, for Ineffa. And I feel like that probably tells a lot about her character, even though I know about her character the least, I would say, considering I skipped some of her stuff. But she is Animo. She's flying around all the time. She's in the air. There's this sense of freedom. It makes sense to me that she'd be suggesting that. And then you have Mavuika's, and it's a mech, and it's just metal as hell. And they've been making her very, like, rock and roll and metal from the very start of this whole thing. So it's, yeah, just big, badass, whatever, in your face. There you go. But also, apparently, I guess practical? Not really, but whatever. They make it work. The laundry. So, I mean, that in of itself was really, really cool to see. And then, of course, you have Ineffa, who, like we said, just wants to do the desserts, just wants to help and please Aino. She is happy when Aino is happy. That's what I'm getting from this. And that's what that is. And it's great. It's cool. She doesn't necessarily care about the whole combat stuff. She just wants to make her person happy, right? So I think that's very sweet. Now, as far as other things I want to say, I love the music. I always forget to talk about music, so I am going to put it out there. How you have this very casual, just chirpy background music of these characters contemplating on what to do, and then whenever you'd cut to the scenes, the music would always switch and kick into something more powerful and strong, and to really back up the invention that they are showcasing, right? And they kept doing this back and forth throughout it, and I thought that was really good. That it wasn't just one steady song the entire time, that they kept changing it based on the mood. Now, that said, it's really good. The animation in general, which is what I like to talk about. I mean, this is what I know. I absolutely think that okay, sorry, I'm just trying to find my words here. I like the art style they usually use for these anecdotes. I think they're all like this or very similar to this. It looks like it's colored pencil to me. It's like colored pencil. It's somewhat more on the muted side, but it's very clear. They don't go too crazy with the shadows. And when they do, they're usually just, I guess the shadows themselves, I know they have different kinds of shadows going on. It depends on the kind of shadow, like what color is up against it. Like here, it's all flat colors. You don't really need shadows for this. They have a shadow behind her, but I'm talking about like on the character themselves. I think I don't mind like the flat color layout. Because for this you don't need it. But then they do add things when you get scenes like this, right? So it's not all flat and just like one layer all the time. There are these effects to it as well from the sun, and you have the rim lighting and the shadows, and there's even a fade to the shadow. It's not just a solid color. They're doing a really good job with this foreground background stuff, how the foreground is blurry but it's the blades of grass, and it's it's just black. You also have your background too, but it is also not necessarily in focus. but enough where you can tell what they are. They're not just blobs of color. And then you have her, who is the most in focus here, but you can definitely see the imperfections, just kind of like the type of line work that they have going on here, the type of brush that they're using. Whether it's digital or not, I mean, whatever, it's most likely digital. But I do just I like this rougher look to it, but it's not so rough to the point where you can't tell what's going on. You can tell what every line is intended to be, but it just has that style to it that makes it just like this is just someone's sketchbook almost, right? And I really like that feeling. And of course they mixed it up a little bit, like, because these lines here, these speed lines, this zoom in line that we have here, this isn't very sketchy. She still is, if you look at it, she has the imperfect lines going on, but this line showing how like she blasted off, this is just straight up like someone used a line tool for that one. Like, that's just what it is. Or so it seems that way to me. And it's like that, it's that way of showing a kind of, although this isn't an impact frame, it has an impact to it because of just how different it is up against everything else that's around it. It really makes you like follow. Yeah, so I mean, once again, the colors are great. They do a really good job at having these characters pop out, despite not the heavy shading and stuff, and the style that they're using. The backgrounds look like they're painted. These weren't good examples of showing off the backgrounds, but I mean, like, that's cool. I love that. You have this scene. Okay, they did also make the robot, the mech, in the same style that she is in. For a second, I couldn't remember if they actually made this more like clean lines to make it seem like it was more, I don't know, manufactured or something. Just like, because it wasn't like a character per se, like the mech itself wasn't a character, I thought maybe they'd do like a different thing for the mech as far as visuals go. Apparently not, but that's fine. I was just curious. So, yeah, I mean, you have the silhouette of Ino here. And then they actually had their lines at the end. That was the other thing. Throughout this, there wasn't many voice lines. They just had them at the end. But I think them doing that was kind of cool. I don't know. It gave me a feeling of almost like Sims. Because they don't actually speak words. They have their own Sims speak. Or even like older Legend of Zelda games, where you'd have the characters going bah! And then the text would appear and they're saying something, right? They kind of did that with these characters here, where they just sort of make a noise and then you would get the idea of what they're talking about through visuals. That's another thing that's why this is really good, because they were able to use their visuals in a way where they didn't necessarily need exposition. They didn't really need things being told to you. Like, unfortunately, Genshin has a bad habit of doing. They like to just tell you what is happening, even though the thing has already happened or it's happening in the process, but they gotta have Paimon tell you exactly what's happening and why it's happening in baby speak so you understand and pay attention. You know, they do that sometimes. Maybe they've gotten better. I don't know, but they do that. At least from where I am in the game. They do that. I'm really glad in their animations that they don't do that. I'm very glad that you have to actually pick up the pieces and figure it out. Not that this was an example of something that you had to really try hard to figure out, but that's also because they did a really good job at showing what they were doing. Plus the title, Ineffa's Magnificent Transformation. We're talking about her having some kind of transformation of sorts. They're talking about upgrades without even talking about it. At least not to us. To each other in their world, yes, but we just see the visuals and we get it, right? We see their thought bubbles, we see their schematics, we see their plans, and if you know how the character just is in general, you have an idea of what they would try to suggest, and that is really cool to see. And then they do have some lines down here, and it is cute. Ineffa just saying kind of like, I can make dessert. Like, that's all she needs. This was really cool. I'm glad I got to watch it. Yeah, so there you go. This video went on longer than I thought it would, but hey, that's usually the case here on this channel. If you enjoy this, make sure you let me know by leaving a like. Share your thoughts about this anecdote down below in the comment section. Check out the description for additional ways of how to support me. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so because it means a lot, supports me, and keeps me wanting to do this kind of thing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And until next time, shine on, you crazy diamonds. Later.